What is up, and welcome back to the Dynasty League Football Special Edition, where we are going through all of the divisions in the NFL. And today, we find ourselves in the NFC North. So much fun. We were talking right here before we started. A lot of fun teams in this division. A lot of fun things to talk about. A lot of moves that the draft really changed. And on draft day, some pretty big news that could signal changes for another team. We'll get into that in just a minute, but this is brought to you by Dynasty League Football. Make sure you're a premium subscriber and make sure that you are getting every advantage for your football league, for your Dynasty Football League, so that you can bring home the championship. And the Chicago Bears, they knew Andy Dalton wasn't getting the job done and bringing them a championship. So they traded up with your New York Giants to go grab Justin Fields, who they think is already the second best quarterback in franchise history. What does he mean for this Chicago Bears offense? And Matt Nagy, who you say what you want of him as a head coach, he's a pretty good offensive guy. What do you think about the marriage between Nagy and Fields?
Who's the first best quarterback in Bears history?
Well, that's Chicago Bears history. We'll talk to like David Klug or somebody about that.
That's what we'll do. We'll bring him on as a guest. There's a lot of big Bears fans in the Dynasty community, but I don't know. They got a steal on Justin Fields. He should have been the number 2 overall pick. That's what he should have been. I wrote an article on Justin Fields today when this is being recorded, but who knows when you're hearing it. But I wrote an article about Justin Fields. It's probably already out by the time you're listening to this podcast. That's why you should subscribe to DLF. You can read it. In there, I said that I have no idea why Justin Fields fell to the 11th overall pick. I still don't understand it. I talked about it. There were lots of made up criticisms, things about his work ethic. Last time I checked, his work ethic didn't stop him from setting records at Ohio State in the Big Ten. I don't remember the work ethic getting in the way. And there was another bizarre report about his epilepsy. Well, I don't know. I didn't notice that his epilepsy stopped him from winning games or throwing touchdowns at Ohio State. I don't remember any issues with that. So I just think that there was some sort of weird, I don't even know what to call it, some sort of weird thing going on where just people didn't want to see him succeed. I don't know why that was, but he was my quarterback 2 in the class. I thought he was the clear quarterback 2 behind generational star Trevor Lawrence and ahead of everyone else. I don't understand why he went as the QB4. Some people say, I like Zach Wilson, I like Trey Lance. Not for me. I mean, I like them, but not compared to Justin Fields. The Bears got a steal. They got the coup of the draft. So immediately I give their draft an A. An A. They got Justin Fields. So an A. That's what they get. They replaced ineffective Andy Dalton and disastrous Nick Foles as their quarterbacks. And this is great. I mean, Justin Fields is immediately the best quarterback that Allen Robinson has ever played with or even sniffed. And he's going to improve the value of all the players on the team. All of them. You had Darnell Mooney. You have improved value. You had David Montgomery. Congratulations. There will be more touchdowns on the team. You had Tariq Cohen. Excellent. You now have a quarterback who's much better at delivering the ball to a receiving running back than whatever Andy Dalton can provide. So if you had any, and then Cole Kmet as well. So same thing. I don't want Andy Dalton. So Justin Fields is going to be a big upgrade. So yeah, they're big winners. Justin Fields is already a dynasty quarterback 1 for me. He's already a quarterback 1. He should be your 102 in Superflex rookie drafts. Maybe 103 if you like Trey Lance for some reason over him. I wouldn't recommend that. I would go with Justin Fields at 102. That's really all I have to say. I mean, there's not much else about their draft. They didn't really take anyone else that relevant. Justin Fields is the big storyline here.
Yeah, and I mean, they did add a couple of players late. I don't think we have much interest in Khalil Herbert, running back out of Virginia Tech, or Daz Newsome, wide receiver out of North Carolina.
We're not. Okay, so Daz Newsome, I have no interest. It's a wide receiver. Allen Robinson is the clear 1. Darnell Mooney established himself as the 2. I think he's going to do great this year. And then, Cole Kmet, I think, is going to be the 3. And then they also have Tariq Cohen, who I think is going to be like a 4th receiving target. Justin Fields is great, but I don't think we're going to want more receiving targets on this team. They tried to sign Kenny Galladay in free agency. I think that they're going to be looking at more receivers in the future, even though they didn't pick up one this year. They traded a lot of draft capital to get Fields. They didn't really have a lot of picks in this draft. So, yeah, I'm not interested in Daz Newsome. Khalil Herbert, we've talked about a lot of guys in situations like this. David Montgomery is the clear starter. Tariq Cohen is the clear pass catcher. So unless one of them gets hurt, Khalil Herbert's not getting on the field. Is he a worthwhile stash? Because I do think he's pretty good. Yes, I would definitely stash him. Because if either Montgomery or Cohen goes down, he'll see the field. And Cohen, is coming off a torn ACL. So there could be room for him to succeed there. Montgomery is good, but not great. So maybe they'll give Herbert some touches. But again, we're just talking about a desperation stash there. But I'd much rather have Herbert over Newsome as a stash, because we always want to stash running backs late in rookie drafts. Stash running backs over receivers because they have more of a value opportunity.
That's been a common theme here. Another common theme is that we don't necessarily love day 3 wide receivers. And that brings us to Detroit, where, yeah, I know we're not supposed to like day 3 wide receivers, but when your wide receiver room looks like Tyrell Williams, Rashad Perryman, Quintez Cephas, could open up some opportunity for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love what they did with their first pick. They went and got Penei Sewell. He fell. Go ahead and take him. I love that you go ahead and get yourself a foundational pick like that. That really is going to mean good things for this offense in the future. I don't think the offensive pieces look anything like what they do today, but go ahead and build from the inside out. Get yourself that tackle. Get yourself a defensive tackle in the next round. Build up those trenches. And, in the meantime, if you could spend a late round pick on Amon-Ra, great. I'm afraid he ends up being a little bit too rich. I know you're not excited about Amon-Ra. Tell me why I'm wrong.
You're talking about a late round pick, I would do it, but I've been seeing him go in super flex leagues. Super flex. I've been seeing him go in the early mid-second. I don't want any part of Amon-Ra St. Brown in the earlier mid-second. Here's the list of day 3 wide receivers that have recorded any, not multiple, one wide receiver 2 season that were drafted from 2010 to 2019. All of them, rounds 4 through 7. Here's the list. Antonio Brown. Sounds pretty good, right? Stephon Diggs. Marvin Jones.
Heard of him.
And Mike Williams. The Tampa Mike Williams. That's it. 4 in 10 years. So the odds are against you. If you cannot spend, do not spend a early second round super flex pick on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Please, 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 please. I'm begging you, don't do it. I've seen him go over Rondale Moore. I've seen him go over Elijah Moore. Please, please. I don't know how to beg you, but please don't do it. I do not care what his opportunity is, because how many day 3 wide receivers do you think have finished even as a wide receiver 4 in their rookie year over like the last 3 or 4 years? Can you name one? No, you can't, because there aren't any. There aren't any. There aren't any. So I don't care what his opportunity says. He also plays with Jared Goff. Jared Goff. We saw what Jared Goff did in 2016. We didn't have Sean McVay to tell him every little thing what to do. It was awful. Whenever anything didn't go exactly how Jared Goff had it planned, when any deviation, any confusion in the defense, he had no idea what to do. All he was capable of doing is what Sean McVay told him to do. And now he's playing for Dan Campbell. I just think this offense is going to be the worst offense in the entire league. It is going to be awful. I want no pieces on this offense. I don't care what the target share says. There is going to be no touchdown upside in this offense. I'll take a chance on TJ Hawkinson just because the volume at tight end, there's no one else has that kind of guaranteed volume, especially with the trash they have at wide receiver. I'll take a chance on DeAndre Swift, of course, just because of the PPR upside. We know he's going to get peppered with targets. Jared Goff doesn't have anyone else to throw to. So, by wide receivers in this offense, yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to end up on 0 of my teams. And I listed the day 3 wide receivers that hit. You go spend your mid-second round pick on him. That's just a terrible investment. It is. It's a terrible investment. If you can get him in the mid to late 3rd in a super flex, then, be my guest, but you're not getting him there. I mean, he's going way too high. People are getting carried away just because of vacated targets. And I think we know that targets are earned. He's not just going to magically receive 110 targets just because no one else is there to do it. If he's not good, and he was picked on day 3, if he's not good, he's not going to receive those targets, especially as a rookie. So I don't see it with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It's so hard because I think he's good, but I can't ignore the fact that the NFL didn't think he was good. So, it makes it hard for me. So
4 out of 260.
Yeah. Rashad Perryman. Is he the best value here then?
Nope. No, I think this is going to be a team. I think this is a team that produces. They don't produce any wide receiver 1. They don't produce any wide receiver 2. They don't produce any wide receiver 3. I think that their best wide receiver could finish outside of the top 50 entirely. Remember how I said that no day 3 rookie ever has finished? Really, I think it's been like 4 or 5 years has finished in the top 50. Darnell Mooney was actually very close last year. I think he was like 51. So he was very close to doing it. But that's Amon-Ra's ceiling. That's Amon-Ra's ceiling. And I don't want Tyrell Williams. Tyrell Williams didn't play last year. He wasn't good for 3 years before that. He had 1 good year when Keenan Allen was out, 5 years ago. I have no interest in that guy. And then Rashad Perryman, he have 3 good games in Tampa Bay in his how many years in the league? 6 years at this point? Come on. No, I don't want any of these players. I just did a pass on my redraft rankings. None of them made my top 50. None of them were even close.
And the Detroit Lions have a lot to prove, and there's no doubt about that. And I'll be curious to see what they do. Jared Goff
3-14
in the future.
3-14 is what they're going to do, and then they're going to replace Jared Goff and his incompetent quarterback play, hopefully with one of those nice 2022 quarterbacks that we have coming in. That would be a big improvement.
A team that made a splash for a different reason last Thursday at the draft, it was last Thursday for us when we're recording, is the Green Bay Packers, because their star quarterback decided that was the day he was going to air all of his grief against the team. And, lots of crazy reports, all the kind of things coming out. And then the team, wanting to make sure that they do everything they can to make him happy. In round 3, they get Amari Rodgers. I don't know if that's going to be enough to make him happy and keep him off the set of Jeopardy. What do you think?
Unacceptable. It's unacceptable. They should have taken a wide receiver in the first round. Elijah Moore was available in the first round when they were picking. They could have picked him. I just don't understand. I don't understand how they think Amari Rodgers is going to solve the problems of weapons behind Davante Adams. It's the same thing. We've had this conversation with other teams, but what if something happened to Davante Adams? What if Davante Adams tore his ACL? You'd have nothing. Alan Lazard is going to solve your problems? I don't think so. He's a Jag. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Oh, the ball is coming! Oh no! Oh no! The ball! Oh! No. I've seen 3 years of Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and it's been 3 years too many. Well, but wait! Devin Funchess is back.
Turn back.
Moving up down. He's back. No. So Amari Rodgers is going to get a chance at playing time, but we didn't really want the weapons. We've been chasing the Packers wide receiver 2 for years, and that's assuming they have Aaron Rodgers. That's assuming they have Aaron Rodgers, who's currently refusing to come to play for the team. He's not coming to camp. There's talk now that the Packers wanted to draft another quarterback in the 2021 draft. They were interested in another quarterback. That's what they wanted to do. So, and now there's discussion that they're going to bring in a veteran quarterback. for I don't even know what reason, what that's going to accomplish, but I don't know what they're doing. They need to solve this issue with Rodgers immediately. Just pay him whatever it costs. Fire Gutekunst, whatever it costs to get him back. With that said, I'm interested in Amari Rodgers because he's one of the few wide receivers. He has day 2 draft capital and landed in a spot where he's going to play. So even with no Aaron Rodgers, I'm still pretty in on him. Just because, like, what's the difference between Amari Rodgers and Nico Collins? It's kind of the same thing, right? And there's at least a chance that Amari Rodgers could have Aaron Rodgers this is going to be very confusing with 2 A Rodgers on the same team. But just like we had 2 D Johnson last year in Houston, now we have 2 A Rodgers on this team. But so just make sure when you're making trades that you pick the right A Rodgers. Don't get fooled by that. But yeah, he has opportunity to play. And if he has Aaron Rodgers on the team, then I'm all in on Amari Rodgers. If he has Jordan Love, then I'm kind of all out. But all out is still not that out, just given the landing spots in this class. In 1 QB, he's the mid to late second for me. And in Superflex, actually kind of the same. More or less, he falls, a few spots, still ends up in the late second.
Kylan Hill would need a lot of help to get on the field, but he's a guy that actually there's a lot of people who thought could be a pretty talented guy. Finds himself in Green Bay with a head coach that likes to run the ball.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good on Kylan Hill. I don't think so. They've spent late round picks on, running backs before. I talked myself into Dexter Williams in 2019. And that was a poor choice. I should not have talked myself into him. I'm not doing the same thing again. They're going to stick to the guys they invested in. Aaron Jones is going to be their starter. A.J. Dillon is going to be a change of pace back. Kylan Hill's only seeing the field if one of them gets injured. He's someone, again, a running back. I'll draft him. I'll put him on the back of my bench. And that's it.
The Minnesota Vikings made a little bit of a splash in the 3rd round when they selected Kellen Mond. Now, I was pretty quick to think this is just like making sure they have a capable backup. But, a lot of the comments make it sound like they are starting to look towards the future. I don't know that Kellen Mond is the future. I don't think Kellen Mond is the future. But, kind of interesting that they decided to make that investment and they're thinking about the future. They did a couple other things. They brought in a running back. Kene
Nwangu.
Nwangu, there you go. And a wide receiver who, Mr. Smith Marset?
Yes.
Okay. What do we think about these guys? Any chance that any one of these offensive weapons make a splash in Minnesota?
I think there's actually something to talk about with all of them. Kellen Mond, unfortunately, he's one of the 3 second-tier rookies that I'm least in on. I just don't see the path to playing time with Kellen Mond. Kirk Cousins' next 2 years are fully guaranteed. So he's going to be there. And we just don't see teams doing this. Like, teams going to a 3rd or 4th round pick that there's like a project and then going to them. Who was the last team who really did that? Who was the last player that really came into a starting job that way? Really? Name one. The only time that happens is when someone gets injured. Dak Prescott didn't develop behind Tony Romo and then get the starting job. Romo got hurt and Prescott got the job. Mason Rudolph didn't develop into the starter behind Ben Roethlisberger when he got his chance. Ben Roethlisberger got hurt and Rudolph stepped in. So I don't think Mond is the long-term solution there. But I do think that if Cousins gets hurt and Mond has to play, that then he could become the long-term solution if he plays well. So with Mond, ignore him in 1 QB leagues, obviously. And in Superflex, I'm just not that in on him. He's a mid to late third for me. I just think you're waiting too long. I'm not going to wait that long on a maybe. The other 2 quarterbacks I'm more interested in. But for Mond, I'm just not. I won't take him. I just won't.
This offense really is all about Justin Jefferson, right? I mean, this is like Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook,
Irv Smith. Yeah.
And Adam Thielen for whatever he has left.
I think Adam Thielen has a few years left. He's the kind of receiver who could age well with his skill set, his route running, his possession skills. I think he's someone who's going to age okay. So I'm from Dynasty, I'm kind of writing Adam Thielen's obituary, but for the Vikings, I think he's going to be the 2 there for 2 more years. So, yeah, I'm just not interested in this Smith-Marset 5th round pick. It's just not someone I'm going to draft. I'm going to take a running back. He has no path to playing time at all. Really, I don't think they're going to go to 11 personnel. I mean, maybe, but I think they're going to find something else at tight end to go with Irv Smith. I don't know who that is, but it's probably just going to be some blocker that we don't care about, and Irv Smith is going to be the primary receiver. And then Kene Nwangwu, I'm actually interested in. I'm interested. He was picked in the 4th round. He's one of my favorite running back stashes, actually. In one of my favorites, ahead of a lot of the other guys we've discussed in this series. He's someone I'm in on. He was picked in the 4th round. He has 4th round draft capital. I mean, that's not bad for a running back. A little different than it is for a receiver, although it's still not great. And, you know, we've had 2 years of Alexander Mattison as the backup. What has he done? What has he done? Be injured the one time they needed him to be available, and then be bad and the other time he replaced Dalvin Cook. So that's what he's done. Are we that excited with Alexander Mattison? Do you think the Vikings are excited to turn their workhorse role over to Alexander Mattison if Cook goes down? No. What I think they've done is, and I think this, for me, it's less, I don't really want Nwangwu that much. I would take this as a big hit to Alexander Madison's value. What this means now to me is if Cook goes down, we're seeing a committee. Their plan is Cook is our workhorse. If Cook goes down, we go to committee. We go to a committee of Madison, and they're hoping Nwangwu develops into that. So I'm no longer interested in Alexander Mattison as a high-end handcuff. It's not someone I want anymore. I don't think he's the high-end handcuff that we think he is. And Nwangwu's a fine stash, but it's whatever.
And that wraps up our coverage of the NFC North here on Dynasty League Football. We're going through every single one of these divisions. This was number 6. Make sure you catch all of them. We have 2 more that we are going to record, but make sure, whenever you're finding this, check all of them out. Put a lot of work into this. Tyler's doing a fantastic job helping us break this down. And look, because of that, make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Click below, make sure it says subscribed, turn on notifications so you know every single time that we go live or that we have a new video or that Addison puts out one of his fantastic videos or any of the other guys that are producing content here on the YouTube channel. And with that, Dynasty League Football, make sure you subscribe to the website that we're a part of. Tyler, anything else that you want to say to wrap up this episode?
Thank you for listening. I think this was a great episode. So I'm just happy that you listened to it.
With that, we will see you on the next one, which is sure to be also a great episode.